Dear God, thank you for today. Always thankful for your love, your grace, and your mercy. Lord, we want to use this time and this opportunity to help others. We hope that we are presenting you, number one, as the head, the way, the truth. And number two, we just want to have a good time, be able to fellowship. And three, again, just want people to see you, see how marriage is supposed to be, see how we can learn from mistakes. We can see how we learn from life. And again, we love you. We thank you. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Yeah.
Man.
All right.
Hold on, before y'all get started.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get started, there's something God put on my heart yesterday about you guys.
Okay, appreciate it.
And I want you guys to know that just because you're newly married, that the old dogs can learn from the new dogs in the game.
Okay.
So don't ever let anybody talk down on y'all, comment and say that y'all ain't been married long enough, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Because I just sat at breakfast with a couple of my brothers and we were talking about, hey, in marriage, you learn from, whether you've been married a few weeks, we learn from y'all. You've been married 40, 60 years, you learn. They all help. Everybody helps each other, and in the realm of marriage. So don't ever let anybody be like, "Oh no, I ain't been married, like I ain't even been in this long enough." You know how people can be.
Oh yeah.
But but no, I've learned from the podcast on some stuff that I need to start doing again. Especially when y'all talked about dating. When y'all just put up a short on dating. Yeah. And that was my thing. God was like, tapped me on my shoulder and was like, hey, y'all need to start dating again. Yeah. Because that was one thing that with my daughters, they're older now. But that was one thing that we made a commitment to where, hey, we gonna have our time. They get dropped off. We do us. So yeah.
We've been thinking about that. But no, first of all, appreciate the word that you just put on us. Like, we can talk more about how things have been growing with us and stuff later. But I'm glad that we are impacting people. We've been hearing some stories here and there, and it's a good feeling. But of course, we always give it to God. So, yeah. So you ready, man?
Oh man, I'm ready.
All right.
Fire away.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, welcome to There's an I in Marriage podcast with Nick and Kayla. Based off the book, if you can see it from here. There's an I in Marriage. Go get it. Check it out. It's on Amazon. What is it? Barnes & Noble. All those places. Yeah, Target. Check it out. I have these, as you can see, we got a special guest here. We're going to be talking about him soon. You're going to get to know him very well. I just wanted to say a couple things that's on my heart. Number one, we do this every 2 weeks. We post these videos every 2 weeks. So if you have not subscribed just yet, please do so. So that way you can stay in the loop. I know people try to catch up. I've been hearing the stories. We appreciate you. All that have watched our videos, we appreciate you. We love you. We hope that you're continuously getting blessed. For everybody new, jump on in. Come on. Jump on in.
That's right.
Yes. And number two, I feel like God has put us in the season where we really want to get to know people's stories. We talk about there's an I in marriage. And we've already told you in a past episode about who we are. It was hers and then mine, how we came together, all that. Check that out. But I see people for where they are in this never a judgmental moment. There's psychology to it. There's spirituality to it. There is your own journey to it, your own experiences. How did you get here? How did that impact you and make your decisions? And this is where I feel like now, as we're bringing in people, we're going to bring in more people. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. As we're bringing in people, how did you get here? Who are you? Wait. I know. I mean, but I'm just trying to get people thinking. Like, just for a little bit of backdrop, you watched The Pivot with Ryan Clark and the gang, Fred Taylor. Shout out to them. Hearing about Anthony Mackie's story. I've watched podcasts on different celebrities and artists and entertainment. I'm a DJ, so I kind of relate to what music is about. Mm-hmm. And it's got me thinking, like, man, how did they get here? Mm-hmm. Where did their stories come from, and how did they make their decisions in life? So that's what we're going to do here. Okay? We're doing interviews, and I please pick up some tips when it comes to, like, your dating practices, on like how to ask questions, because these questions I'm actually about to ask, I feel like it would be good to break the ice, and instead of just jumping in infatuation, which we really love, we understand, but like, who are you? Who am I talking to? So yeah, man, we have here today Mr. Daniel Pate.
How y'all doing?
Yes, and
you're our mentor.
Yes, I was gonna get into that. First of all, he's an amazing man on his own, yes. But he has impacted us in writing this book. He is our coach in writing There's an I Am Marriage, or at least helping us publish and getting all of our ideas together. So, number one, thank you. This is a public thank you for everything you've done. If people end up watching this and this is like their first episode, I hope you understand wherever we are in the future, this is where it started. So thank you. And then I would like for you to give a little bit more about who you are, what you do, what age you are, where you're from. You can give your own bio,
Okay. So I'm Daniel Pate. Who I am, I'm a child of God. I'm a husband of 16 years. Actually 17.
Just add up on it.
They just come so fast. They come quick. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. Like, that's who I am. Like, when people see me, what I do doesn't matter to me anymore. I guess I've grown to the maturity of my job or my career or my entrepreneurship ventures. They don't define me. But when it gets down to the core, my granddaughter is at our house right now, and okay. Pop is, hey, that's who I am. That's me, dad to my youngest son, and then I got three older daughters. One that's not biologically mine, but I was in her life since she was 2. So yeah, that's my child, and we're going to visit her in Vegas, flying out next Friday. Okay. Cool. So about to go have a good time with her, and she's happy because it's the first time anybody has been to visit her. So, but what do I do? I'm also a vision coach. I help people bring their vision, what's in their head or what's written down on paper. I help them to bring that to life and put some bones to it, put a skeleton to it for them to go forward. And then also, I'm an entrepreneur myself, to real estate, coaching, author. So I authored my first book, It's Time to Let You Go, which was dealing with the things that you've been holding on to that are actually holding you back from moving forward in life. Just finished up writing my second book, It's Time to Let You Go, which is for people who were on fire for God. They were living that life for God, got unfocused, off track, and they're trying to find their way back. And when God tapped me on the shoulder to write that book, it was because I was in the gym with a guy that I went to school with in college, and we had connected. He was younger than me, and he was like, I was like, man, are you still singing in the church and stuff like that? Because he was doing all that type of stuff. And he was like, no, man. He was like, be honest with you, I turned 21, went out, slept with somebody, and he said from there, he said, I just start wilding out. And he was like, to be honest with you, I don't even know how to get back to that place in God. And I was like, and God was like, see, I allowed you to take that path and go off and wild out and come on back
Mm-hmm.
just so you could help lead somebody else back because they have no clue. They're like, they don't even know where to start. So, yeah.
And what was the name of the book again?
It's Surviving the Fall.
Surviving the Fall. Okay.
So Surviving the Fall. So, yeah.
And you said you threw a lot at us. Number one, you said you a papa. Man, how old are you?
I'll be 50 this year.
Be 50? You don't look 50, man.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Hey, what we say in our community, black do not crack.
Don't crack. And that's all God. That's I tried to make it crack, but he was like, no. He's like, no, I'm going to preserve you and keep you youthful looking.
Yeah, you've been telling us you work out and all of that.
Oh, yeah, man. Oh, got to. I have to keep up with an 11-year-old kid. So, so, man, I'm always in the gym. And then it's just like, man, my biological father had health issues. He had multiple heart attacks before he was 60. I never met him. He died when I was when we calculated, he died when I was a sophomore in high school. My mother, as we know it as today, she's still alive, but I haven't met her yet.
Okay. Wow. So can you explain a little bit more about like how'd you come about? Where'd you come from and all of that?
So I was adopted when I was as a baby. My mother couldn't have children, so she found out, but she told me she had a whole lot of love to give. And since God wouldn't allow her to birth a child, she wanted to adopt, and she told my dad, and he was like, cool. And when they came to the adoption agency, she told me the story. She said, when I walked in and I saw you, I knew you were the one. Fast forward to now, when I look back on that, that was God always telling me, you're the one. Like, I chose you. And she showed me unconditional love because she hadn't even held me yet. I was with another family. Matter of fact, when they walked in and saw me, I was with another family, interacting and stuff like that. And she looked at my dad and said, he's the one. And my dad was like, are you sure? And she was like, yep. And when that family left, they started the process on me. They were like, no, we want to adopt him. We want to take him home. And so a year later, they brought me home. And when I found out I was adopted, it was a crazy way. Family, crazy. I had an aunt tell my cousin, who was about 4 years older than me, and him and a friend of mine were teasing me about it. I was 13. And if you know, because we talk about psychology, if you talk to any psychologist, your years from birth to 13 is really the foundation of your life. And pretty much at 13, I had my whole foundation crushed. So everything before that, to me, was a lie.
Wow. So you were an only child with
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Only child. Yeah.
Okay. And it sounds like there was a lot of love in the house then.
My mother was my mother and father. My dad he wasn't a talker. He grew up in that generation of you keep everything in, you're a man, never let them see you cry, don't let them see you sweat. I remember even as a young kid, I only saw my dad cry once. And that was when his brother was killed. One of his brothers was killed. And that was the only time I saw him cry. He didn't even cry at my mother's funeral, but I knew he was crushed. I knew he was crushed, but he didn't cry. But that was the only time in life I saw him cry. But my mother took me to church, drugged me to church until I was 16. And when I was 16, I decided to just be like, okay. I asked my dad, I said, hey, do you believe in God? He never goes to church. And he was like, yep, I believe in God. I said, cool. You believe in God? I don't need to go to church either.
Okay. So it sounds like they probably formed your desire for marriage eventually, or how did you come about desiring?
They formed they gave me a view of marriage. Not a very positive one. Dad cheated on my mom constantly. But what he did instill in me though was he went to work, he paid the bills, he made sure everything was taken care of in the household, but he didn't take care of my mom that I felt like. My mom went into a deep depression once I found out I was adopted, and I lost her. And alcohol pretty much was the norm in the house. My dad wasn't an alcoholic, but my mom was. My dad drank, but seeing him sloppy drunk or something like that, I've never seen him like that. He may take a sip or something, but he didn't help my mom out. So my view of marriage was like, he's a cheater, she's suffering. Man, I thought it was supposed to be like a team. So I started adopting my friends' families. So I would always be at their house. I was always in sports, or I was at my friend's house. And their families gave me what I was looking for, which really hurt me versus helped me down the road.
What do you mean by that? I mean,
So a psychologist told me as I was going through therapy is for black people. Let me tell you that. Therapy is for everybody. Just let's put that out there. She was like, how did you handle the situation when you found out you were adopted? I started adopting other people's families, with my mom being an alcoholic at that time. So I would always run to something else if I wasn't getting what I was needing where I was. So even in relationships, if you weren't giving me what I needed, then I would pretty much cheat on you because I would go find it somewhere else. And that's how I handled everything in my life, even with jobs. If the job wasn't giving me what I felt like it should, I left and go get another job and climb the corporate ladder, and it's not giving me what I want anymore either. On to the next one. So yeah.
So I'm sorry. You got a question?
No, it made me think about this book that I've been reading, and it mostly talks about being present, and what it sounds like is you are running. What we all do is you are running away from suffering instead of embracing it in those moments.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And looking back over my life, with my mom taking me to church, it shaped my perspective on God as I know He's real. I know He's there. I never felt like He was on my side. Because first of all, my dad's doing what he's doing to my mom. And my mom is pretty much killing herself drinking. And I was like, I don't feel like you're on my side because you're all powerful. But why can't you? Yeah.
Why can't you fix this?
Why can't you fix this?
So, I guess to dive a little deeper, which happened first that you know of? Was it the cheating or was it the drinking?
The drinking happened first.
Okay.
The drinking happened first. Now, I knew men in my family, I already knew they was dogs.
Okay.
But then my dad, at an early age, and I never even knew this, he had taken me to some lady's house. And I was in the car. So he didn't take me in the lady's house, but I was in the car. And I ended up saying something to my mom. My dad was at some lady's house.
Oh.
You didn't know.
I was young.
You just thought it was...
Can I say that I can relate? I can't tell the story.
That's what I was
thinking. But I can very much relate with that.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So after the drinking, then I started paying a lot of attention to, like, Dad's not home a lot. Always gone. Like, oh, okay. And then my mom heard her on the phone having a conversation, talking about him cheating. And that she started to cheat with somebody. And my dad heard it. Come to find out, my dad had been cheated on while he was in the military. When he came home from overseas, he caught a man in his house with his wife.
Saying your mom or wow?
No, it wasn't. No, this was his marriage before my mom.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of a family thing where, and I'm not trying to pick on it, but you have. This is which marriage for you?
This is 2.
Second marriage.
Yeah.
So sounds like, and of course you're growing through everything. You changed a lot about your life, but like that was a generational thing.
Oh, it was generational on 2 sides. Because then when I found out about my biological family, I'm one of 18 that we know of.
I can relate. I can relate.
That we know of.
Yeah.
My oldest brother, who I met a year ago before he passed away, he said I actually may be one of 26.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, this is generational. Get out of it on one side because God graced me to be adopted.
Yeah.
And what I could have been born into, no telling.
Right.
It's a whole, man, we might have to go 2 episodes because, my dad was a photographer, a business owner, carpenter, pretty much all the stuff that I'm into, except for the photography part.
Yeah.
He had businesses from here to Louisiana, and he ended up sleeping with my mom right when she had gotten married and got her pregnant.
Do you have headaches when it comes to relationships, like in your dating life or in your marriage life? Like, do you have questions when it comes to marriage and what does that even look like? Or are you having a hard time getting married? Like, ugh.
Well, if you do, we have the solution for that. We have a book titled There's an I in Marriage.
Boom.
This book has all the answers to anyone who is dating, single, married, any way for you to get those headaches out of those situations. The answers are in here.
Boom. Look, we have a YouTube page as well with our podcast. We talk about all these different topics. And yeah, just follow along. Like, subscribe. Come check us out. Get the book. Do it.
And so we looked through the documents of my mother of when she got a divorce. She was just 20 and she was just newly married, and then her marriage was dissolved. So we put 2 and 2 together that, he found out she pregnant, and he is.
Yeah. Wow.
And so she got me up for adoption.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow. Just to kind of
ease the...
I've done this, and I'm sorry, but I can't grow from here because of what I did. So I would rather you have a good, better life.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Wow. That is grace. And
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've established that you have been married before. Before we get into your first marriage, because I do want to talk about that if you don't mind. What age did you know that you wanted to be married?
Man, I have always, I wouldn't say it was I knew I wanted to be married. I just knew I loved relationships. I love being in a relationship. Like, I wasn't the dude that could go to the club, sleep with somebody, and then go on about my business. I had never been that guy. Like, all my buddies would be like, he will fall asleep at the club because he's so bored. And I'm relational, so we in the club, I can't really hear you, so there's no point in talking unless we gonna go outside.
Yeah.
I've always loved relationship, and I always knew I didn't want my marriage to be like what I saw. But when you concentrate on so much on what you don't want, you end up being like that. Versus concentrating on what you actually do want.
So, did you grow up dating people in high school or college?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, in high school, dated. First girlfriend, long-term relationship. We were freshmen. I think we ended up breaking up junior year or something like that. So, but yeah. And then the next young lady that I met, We dated. It was long term. She went off to college. I stayed here, and so that kind of fizzled out.
Okay. So then, when did you meet your first wife?
We actually met in high school. So we met in high school, dated in high school. That relationship kind of fizzled out. It was. She was away at Kentucky. I was here, and at that time it was like, hey, you go ahead and go do you. I do me, and then when you come in town, then we'll hook up. And then I ended up hooking up with the wrong one, which really made that relationship fizzle out.
Yeah. What do you mean?
It was just lustful. Got into a lustful relationship. He had all messed up, abusive, and me and her stopped that. So me and who would be my first wife, we stopped talking and everything. She went on with life. I went on with life. She got pregnant. I got the girl pregnant that I was with. Broke up those relationships, and then we end up running into each other. And of course, the feelings came back of like, this was a good part of my life before she, went off to college. But the one thing where we messed up at, and what I want people to understand, and what I try to tell young people is, deal with your trauma of your past relationships before you try to jump into another one. Because you just gonna. What happened in my first marriage is we brought all that baggage into that first marriage, and actually God had gave me an out. We did a destination wedding in Jamaica, and when we woke up that morning, she asked me. She was like, "Do you just want to make this a vacation, or do you still want to get married?" And in the back of my mind, I was like, "Yes, my out." And then pride rose up and was like, "No, we'll still get married." In 3 years, and it was over.
So you really liked this woman enough to say that you wanted to get married. What was dating like before you got married with her? And how did you progress to thinking we just gonna get married?
I would say dating it's almost like we skipped the dating phase. We just jumped right on in. Like we're a full-blown couple relationship, not talking about the past that happened.
We just gonna forget about that. We got kids, but we gonna
forget about all that. You got a daughter, I got a daughter.
I just love you.
We love being with each other. Let's just jump on in, and not dealing with that trauma is really what that killed the marriage. That killed the marriage.
So there was not much progression or growth. Y'all wasn't thinking about like living together. Y'all just
we bought a house, everything. We bought a house.
So you made it look.
Yeah,
good.
we made it look good. We made it look good. So yeah, we got an apartment. Lived in an apartment for some years, and then we ended up buying a house out in McCoursville.
Mortgage, like the name on it.
Yeah, all that.
McCoursville is crazy.
And then there was like, there's some stuff out there now, but like when we moved out there, that was the first housing addition that was being built out there. So yeah,
it's kind of like this area where because everything's starting to move outward with the For those not familiar with Indianapolis, like you have the core city where inside of the highway is been there, and then now there's doing a lot of branching.
It is.
And so you then at the time had bought a brand new house.
Brand new house.
Was it built or was it?
Yep, built from the ground up.
From the ground up, okay. So it sounded like at the time you loved her, you trusted her. Was that true or is that?
Loved her, trusted her, but I had a whole lot of insecurities from my previous relationship, which spilled over into her. So her family, on her side of the family, the men paid all the bills. They went to work, paid all the bills, bought their checks home, and they got a little bit to spend, but the wives handled everything, and I was unknowingly and knowingly trying to live up to something that I thought was the standard, but I really didn't feel like it was the standard. I wasn't the type of person that was going to go to work, bring home my check, and give it to you. And that's all we do. We just go to work, we pay bills, and that's it.
And she get to have fun with your money.
She get to have fun with your money. And so it was always a pressing thing where the family, I felt like they looked at me as less than because I wasn't trying to do it. She made more money than me.
Her family.
Yeah, her family. She made more money than me. All those type of things.
So what was your definition of love at that time versus now?
Oh, my definition of love at that time was, my definition of love was, I felt like love was something that we build together, not I handle everything.
And you handle this part.
You handle this part. Yeah, I always thought it was, okay, we built something together.
Yeah.
But the insecurities that had me to even feel like that I was being judged or looked at, or I wasn't living up to their standards, stuff like that.
So, was it pride that made you decide to still marry her, or was?
Oh yeah, that was all pride. That was all pride.
Okay.
Because if I wasn't being prideful, and she said, "Let this be a vacation," we never would have got. So I would have listened to the Holy Spirit.
So then, given the time frame, when did you decide, like in your heart, you know what, I am gonna put a ring on it? Like, what was that moment for you? Or you just did
I can be honest, I just did it.
Just did it. Did you?
At that point in time in my life, I was smoking from sun up to sundown. I was doing what I wanted to do. I was in the streets. So yeah.
You thought this wasn't out.
Out of the streets.
Like you always, like you, at the time, you were always looking for an out.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, let me.
The streets ain't giving me what I want no more, so I'm gonna get married so I can look for that again.
Yeah.
Wow. So you felt like you wanted an out, or you wanted responsibility, or you didn't think there was responsibility in marriage?
No responsibility. I had none.
And none. You just.
I mean, I when I look at it and I think about it, I don't even think I even wanted any responsibility. Besides my kids, that was it. That was probably the only thing that really kept me as long as it did. Because there were several times that I probably thought to myself, if we didn't have a kid together, because now I've been in my daughter's life, which was her biological daughter, and I have a daughter. I've always been in her life.
Yeah.
And now we've had a daughter together.
Gotta stay.
Now now it's just like, I gotta figure something out. But it came to a head to where we weren't going to church on a consistent basis at all. I would go, she would go, every now and then.
But the block knew y'all were married.
The block knew.
Y'all knew y'all were married.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But the relationship with God was, sitting out in the middle of the yard and praying and like, what the heck is going on here? What am I doing with life?
So, I hope this isn't too much of a personal question, but did you know that you wanted to have kids with her?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as a mother, she's, when it comes to kids, that was probably one things that I loved about her so much, that she was just great with kids, and kids just, it don't matter whose kids they were. If they was crying in their parents' arm and she came and got them, all that stopped. So she just had this touch with kids that was, I was like, wow. And I knew, me having a daughter at the time and us getting together, I was like, my daughter's mother is crazy. Yeah, I've heard me on my own podcast tell you that. But yeah, I said I know that my daughter would be well taken care of. That was one thing that I did not have to worry about. My children will be taken care of very well, even from her and even from the rest of her family.
That's good. I mean, that's still good.
So yeah,
So then, why? Like, why did y'all divorce?
Because we were not growing together at all. We were growing apart. So what ended up happening is one night, I think I was pretty much fed up with life, period, and how everything was going. And we got in it wasn't even a big argument. It wasn't. It was a small little disagreement. And I had a deck of cards in my hands. And I threw them at her. And I said, I can't do this no more. And I walked out. I grabbed all my stuff and I threw it in my car. And I got in my car and I said, God, I'm tired of doing it my way. I'm going to do it your way. And we're going to ride this thing out. She wouldn't let me back in the house once I left, which was a good thing. Because we probably would have started the same cycle all over again. And that's when God was like, okay, I'm about to show you who you are. So he put me in front of a mirror. And like I say this in my book, my first book that I wrote, I worked at St. Vincent at the time, and they had rooms where, if you were on call but you lived too far away, you could stay in these rooms. So I would work from sun up to sundown, and I would stay in those rooms. And I would just pack my clothes for the week and stay in those rooms. And that was God's time to be like, okay, I got you by yourself. Let's get this thing together. And so as I was going through that, and then I was also going to therapy, counseling with Pastor Jackson, our pastor, through that time. And so I really got involved, not in church, I got involved in my relationship with God, which led to me always being involved in church and bringing my daughters to church. And I know in one of my sessions, my pastor has never told me to get a divorce. But he said, eventually you're going to have to make a decision. And he said, and that's between you and God. I can't tell you. He was like, so a lot of fasting and praying and fasting. And God was released me from that marriage. And I never looked back from that day. When he released me, when we signed the papers, people who lie and say they get a divorce and they are happy and they're lying. Yeah. Because the Bible is true. The two souls become one. And so when you tear those two apart, that was like the worst feeling. Like when I signed the paperwork and I walked out of it, I felt my soul splitting in two. And I was like, I would not wish this on my worst enemy. Ever. Because your soul is truly being torn apart.
Wow. I'm feeling the weight from it. I prayerfully never want to go through that.
We gotta make sure y'all don't go through that.
But people kind of ground this whole conversation. People date and they think that they can date someone and then just leave them. And just marriage is a lot different.
I think that's why it's so scary to people, because it's that serious. And I think a lot of times we say, oh, it's just a piece of paper. But if you really do your research and you really ask the questions that you want to ask but are too scared to ask, you'll see how serious it is. And I think deep down in all of our hearts, we know how serious marriage is. Oh, yeah. We just don't want to say it because then that makes it true.
Yeah, it's...
So
I tell people that when it comes to marriage, whatever it is that you do not like about your significant other, it's going to get magnified. It's not going to go away. It's going to get bigger. So the fact that he leaves his clothes all over the floor, it's going to get bigger. The fact that she doesn't do ... it's going to get bigger. It's not going to go away. No, it gets magnified in marriage because that's really something this guy's saying that, hey, you both need to really work on this for you two to continue to become one. But no, we think, oh, we've been living together for so long.
We having sex.
We doing this. No, the things that you do not like about that person, and you've never voiced it. You may have complained about it, but you never really voiced, hey, I really don't like that you do ... or that you respond to me this way when you're whatever it is. It gets magnified when you get married. You get married.
We said that in the book. We say God shines a spotlight on you as soon as you get married.
It's in here. It's in here.
But yeah.
So kind of break it down. What was different about divorce than breaking up with past people?
It's a good question. Y'all talked about soul ties on a couple episodes. I don't know when this one's going to air, but y'all talked about soul ties, and they're so true. Because the relationship before I got married to my ex-wife, all the things that I did not like about her, I started doing on a regular basis. And I used to look in the mirror after I would do them, like verbally abusive. I started becoming verbally abusive, and that's not even me. Like, I'm the one that they like, Daniel always laid back, chill, quiet in the cut. He ain't about drama. I became about drama. She was about drama. And that's the thing that I did not like most about her became something that I ended up taking on because of the soul tie.
Because that was a new environment. She at first maybe the things that she said were funny or
oh, they were never funny.
They were never funny.
Put it this way, her daddy. I should have took this as a warning. He said himself, "You're dating my daughter," and he looked at me like that. You're dating my daughter? He's like, "Good luck." I was like, "Whoa!"
Because he know his daughter.
Because
he knew his daughter.
Yeah, he know. But I was so caught up in the sex that
But you start to become who you hang around, and that's including your spouse.
Yes. And
if they're doing something you don't like, and you find yourself doing it.
So that dating her, I carried that over. That was the baggage that I took into my marriage. So I would talk to the person that I had never talked to her that way before, ever. When we dated previously, I brought that into the relationship. You bring that baggage with you. I don't care who you are.
And it's crazy that both of y'all still wanted to get married after meeting new versions of each other. That's
because we thought pride.
Yeah.
Thought, oh no, we can change that. We can change. Oh no,
it'll eventually change.
It'll eventually change. Or it'll eventually go.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it'll go away if you work on it.
Yeah.
But not if you just. It doesn't happen by osmosis. It don't.
If you just laying back and, hey, what's up, baby? You trying to do that thing? But like, if you're not
intentional, y'all talk about it. Intentionality. You have to be intentional about fighting the things and going after the things and dealing with the things that you don't like about yourself, or some things that you may have brought along.
So, ask your friends, ask your daddy, ask your mama. What's up with me? Am I alright? Am I good?
And hope that they're honest.
And don't be like, oh, they tripping because I didn't know. Listen to them.
Listen, they know you.
They know you.
They know you best.
So you brought up intentionality and kind of going back to your season where you were at St. Vincent,
Mm-hmm.
it sounded like you became intentional about changing yourself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What did you do to become more intentional about yourself? What was your thought process then?
Therapy.
Instantly.
I was like, I have to talk to somebody.
Okay.
I have to talk to somebody.
Okay.
It was always my thing, because as I was growing up, I didn't have anybody to talk to, so my friends never knew what was going on in my household. They had no clue. They didn't know until I wrote the book. It was like, what, you was going through that? That's why you was over my house all the time. That's why their parents would be like, oh, that's why you used to come over and eat all the time. Yes, I like to eat, but the real reason was because I was avoiding,
the stuff at home.
But I didn't have anybody to talk to. My mother went into depression, so I couldn't talk to her, and I didn't know what version of her I would get. And then my dad was not a talker. You man up.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense.
But for me, I'm a communicator.
Yeah.
I like to communicate. So if we're not communicating, I have an issue. So my instant thought was, I need to go talk to somebody. So St. Vincent had a program. Oh, I can get some free sessions in. Oh, and then you can take it out of my check. Okay, I got a pastor. Okay, he free. I'm gonna go talk and get all of this junk out. Get it out.
Yeah, talk about it. We said that in the book too. Confess to a friend or talk to somebody about your. It's in the Bible. I can't think of the exact verse, but that's how you become. Like, you get the weight off of you when you're able to talk about it or talk to somebody. I can't remember the scripture. I wish I could. But we mentioned it in the book about that for sure.
I'm pretty sure there's like 5 scriptures for the one scripture.
Oh yeah. There's a lot.
Confess our sins to one another.
Yeah.
Carry each other's burdens. All of those. So then, was there any other things you did out of discipline to change who you were outside of seeking therapy?
Oh, I really got in my word and journaling. Really got in my word and journaling and really trying to understand what it was God was really saying in His word and what He was really trying to say to me about me. Like I said, He put me in the mirror, put me in front of a mirror. He was like, "This is where you're gonna be for a year." And and after that divorce, even before I got divorced, as I was separated, I wasn't having sex with anybody. Once I got divorced, I didn't have sex for a whole year.
The abstinence
and
journey.
I was like, man, forget that. I don't even want to be bothered with nobody like that. I was like, I just want to take care of my daughters, and that's it. And myself.
I know that.
And so I was cool. I was like, there was even moments I had some friends that we were right on the couch, both of us naked, and I got up and was like, "No, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
You gotta, yeah." And I know she was probably shocked, but I was like, "Nah, because I know me. If I open up Pandora's box, oh, you don't have my name's gonna be all over St. Vincent."
It's crazy.
And we talked about that too.
In my abstinence story, I said the same thing. On the couch, I said, "Nah, we can't do this. You gotta go. I'm sorry. You gotta go." But as a man, especially if you've been down the road before, you know that you cannot put yourself in the same space. Because especially when you had a time with God, it's like, I worked so hard to get my peace, to get my life together.
Lose it that quick.
For her, I don't really know you like that.
No.
You say, I just met her.
It's funny. I don't even know if I really even like you like that.
That's real.
So I was like, yeah, like when I say literally, we were right at the doorstep, and I was like, nope, you got to go. I was like, I was like, I know me. And that's about being honest with yourself and knowing yourself. There's people that and then it got to the point I believe you said it on the podcast, and it made me smile and laugh. I ain't even invite you over my house no more. Like,
Yeah.
we can meet out somewhere. We can go have lunch or whatever. But coming over to my house, nah.
Until I can trust you, if even
until I can trust me to nah.
That's real.
So I was just like, nah.
So, with all that, spending time with God and being intentional about yourself, basically discovering your I, because that's really what that moment was about, discovering who you were and what are your needs, what are your boundaries, your new boundaries, and all of that. So, how did you get to meet your current wife?
How did I meet Sherelle?
Hi, Sherelle.
I'll tell you about this when I get home. Nah, we've done our podcast together, so we met in church, and the funny thing was, while I was going through the divorce process or trying to figure out whether I was going to get divorced or not, we were serving in the same ministry. And it's funny, I tell people this all the time, it's like God had these blinders on me, because I looked at her and I was just like, oh yeah, she just cute, teen ministry, person who teaches. Oh yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When I got divorced and and God took me on this journey of discovering me and who I am in Him, it was fun. We were out on the parking lot, and the guy who was the head of the parking lot ministry at the time, we were sitting there talking, and Sherelle was standing in her car, and she was talking to somebody else, and we both were looking at her, and he was like, man, she's fine. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, but you can't. I was like, but you're going to have yourself together if you approach her. Mm. And he was like, he looked at me. I was like, man, I said, look at her. I was like, just kind of like how she carries herself. Mm-hmm. She's beautiful, and she ain't exposing nothing. Mm-hmm. And when I started looking back on it, I'm like, yeah, she's very conservative, but she's beautiful. And I was like, and that's the thing of women, you don't have to expose yourself to get no dude. Mm-hmm. Like, you can cover up, dress nice, dress conservative, and if he loves that, then you might be working with something. But if you got to be showing something for him to be interested, they going all the wrong way.
Heard it from a man.
You're going all the wrong way. You're going backwards, because pretty much men just look at women as a piece of meat. If you exposing everything, men want something,
At first, because when you are looking for a wife.
Yeah, when you're looking for a wife. Yeah, well, and I would say just in general, us as men, we are sight driven. Mm-hmm. And if we see everything, we're like, oh, well, we can have that. Mm-hmm. You showed everything to everybody. But when there's somebody who's dressed conservatively, as a man, you're looking at like, dang, she beautiful and she all covered up.
What does she do?
Yeah, what she do? She knows she got curves and stuff, but it's the what would you call it?
Modesty.
The modesty is like, man, you leave something to be discovered. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So I saw Sherelle in the distance, and I was like, man, you gotta really have yourself together if you're gonna approach her. Mm-hmm. And not just have yourself together in the aspect of, oh, you make a lot of money or anything like that. No, you're going to have your spiritual walk together, and you're going to have your personal life together before you approach her. It ain't had nothing to do with money. And she's not the type of person who, what the first question out of her mouth is like, what job you got, how much money you make, or anything like that. She's looking at your spirit. She's like, how do you carry yourself? What are your mannerisms? Things like that. Mm-hmm. And she would say to me, and she says it on regular, she said it was the God in you that I saw. Mm-hmm. It was the way that you cared for your daughters. They were always with you. It was the father that you were to them. It's I didn't see you as churchy doing the church stuff. No, I could see that you really had a real relationship with God. is what she saw.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think that's very underappreciated, but also at the same time undervalued. It's undervalued by men, and then sometimes underappreciated from the perspective that women don't think that way.
Yeah.
I mean, women can, but are we really talking about it enough where people can see how beautiful you are and the godly things that you do, your discipline as a man that works, and not just doing it for yourself, but doing it for your family.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are things that I think we miss out on dating. That's where I'm getting at.
Because the world tells you to look at this, and this, but God is like, no, I need you to look at this.
That's why God says, I look at the heart.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the outer appearance. I look at the heart. And when he's talking about heart, he's like, I'm looking at the way that you live your life. I'm looking at the way that somebody serves, how they serve others. How are they with their parents? Mm-hmm. I can tell you a telltale sign if the mother and the daughter have a very bad, negative, toxic relationship, or the daughter has a very toxic relationship with the dad, man, you better hopefully ask them if they've been to therapy.
and toxic, I'm hearing not just, they argue, they bicker, but like, how connected are you? Like, are you constantly running when they call? Are you constantly, like, if we planned a date night, are you constantly going to run to their rescue or do as they say? When they say jump, are you going to jump? So toxic could be either spectrum.
Yes.
And I've been there. I've had to learn, like, okay, I can't be here when you want me to be here to my family. And whether they understand it or not, I know in my heart I did the right thing. So
Exactly. Mm. And the respect that you have for your parents. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you cussing in front of your parents, that's like a telltale sign. Like, I'm like, hold on, you cussing in front of your mama, your daddy. I'm like, like I would never. Like, just out of respect.
They're still ma'am and sir, sometimes. Like,
it's like, just out of respect, it's like, nope.
I think for me, and I'm not saying like I give permission to people to cuss, but like when I'm around my family or when I'm with my grandma, even, it's like their space needs to remain peaceful. If they have peace in their home, don't bring in drama.
Yes.
And drama does sometimes bring in the cuss words. You know what I'm saying? Like, like you why somebody has to be an MF, or why does somebody got to be a B word? Yeah. and especially in front of your granny, in front of your mama, in front of your dad. Like, come home, hey, how you doing? Watch a movie with them, go out, go to the mall and stuff like that. Like, it's okay to have fun, but like, still respect the peace that they keep in the house. That's where I get that from.
I get you.
So, going back to Sherelle, what was different about her? Obviously, she was in the church and stuff, but like, what was different?
That was one different. The difference was not the fact that she was in church. It's just I like the way that she served. So I'm a very observant person. So I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to watch. Mm-hmm. And watch the way that you move. Mm-hmm. And it was the way that she moved that you could just tell that there was something different about her. The way that she spoke to the kids. The way that she served God. The way that you could tell that she was vulnerable to God. And I was like, okay, that's somebody, and of course, if you've been on the streets like me, you keep your ear to the pavement to be like, okay, yeah. So what's going on with her? Am I hearing anything about her? Is her name going around anywhere? No. You ain't hear not one, not near another.
We watched this comedy special with a guy, I can't think of his name right now, but he's kind of like a Christian-based comedian. Mm-hmm. He doesn't cuss, obviously, like that, but like he was telling his story about how he met his wife. Mm-hmm. And he was like, his friend had he was sitting with his friend in a college campus, just sitting on the yard, and she walked by. And he said, hey, girl. And he's like, oh, you know her? He's like, yeah. Do you know her? Like, have you
know her?
I just want to be sure you ain't seen her naked.
Right.
Okay? Like, as a man, like, of course, we kind of say it, but we don't really know how to express it when it comes to, like, okay, this woman that I'm thinking about really putting in my life, like, what is it about her, and has anybody else that I know, grazed, frolicked in the grass,
played in the field,
played
on the playground?
Because I need to know that when I come home to this woman, I have peace. That's the thing about me with her, with you. Like, I don't know the person of your past or the people of your past, and that's a good thing. But then also, like, your name didn't have any bad things to come with it.
Right.
Like, I looked at your Instagram and I was like, okay, you seem like you are put together, and as you pointed, like let me come with respect.
Right.
I'm not gonna come here and say, hey, how you doing? What you and just play around. I was like, I'm serious about you.
Yeah, it's like, and men can tell. Like, we can tell. The whole women's intuition thing goes around and stuff but men can really tell when there's something different about a woman.
Especially if he's serious about her.
Yeah.
It's when he's in the streets a little bit.
Yeah, when he's doing his thing and
she different. Okay, but I'm over here.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, we'll be like, she's different. I'm gonna leave that one alone because what I'm really looking for is right here.
Yeah.
I want the ones that's ratchet right now. I can't do this one right because I'm still ratchet. So we know. We know. And it was something about her. Like I said, when I looking across the parking lot, I knew something was different about her. And then when serving in ministry together, I knew there was something different about her. Like,
so when did you step to her?
And the crazy thing about that was I did it jokingly. So we had mutual friends in the church by this time. And I don't even remember what I said. I do not even remember to this day what I said. I just know I walked away after I said what I said. It was something flirtatious. I walked away, and our mutual friend, the guy friend, was still right there. And he came back to me later and was like, she said, are you serious? I said, well, I am now. I said, I was just throwing the bait out there. I didn't know, she was going to pick it up. But he was like, man, she said, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And we started talking from there. Like, we really don't even know how we really started talking. That's the crazy.
It was just we just kept the conversation going.
Like I said, I had blinders on at first. That day that I said that comment, the blinders were gone. And not knowing that she had got out of a relationship. And I was like, oh, wow. I said, God knew when to open my eyes because, like I told you, when I got divorced, I was like, I don't want to fool with nobody. And he kept them blinders on, and when he was ready for them to come off, he was like, yeah, she's right there.
So you actually walked into my next question. Did you hesitate when you decided that you wanted to marry her?
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was plenty of prayer and fasting. And then I had to go to God, and I was like, okay, like, I need this perfectly clear.
Okay.
I was like, God, I need this perfectly clear. Because at that time, I'm a dad of 3. I'm a dad of 3 girls. So whoever I bring into my life, they ain't feeling you. And if you're not able to handle the fact that I have 3 girls that are not yours. And so that was the question. I said, God, I'm going to ask her this one question. Can she handle 3 girls that are not her own? And I said, if she hesitates or says no, that means no. And my thing was the hesitation part. Because if you say no, We got
respect.
Yeah.
Respect.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if she hesitated, I was like, yeah, that means she's not really sure, and I can't risk it for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked her that question, and she paused, and then she was like, yes. And she was like a dead straight up yes. And I was like, okay, God. Okay. I was like, yeah, she the one.
Okay. So, did she have any kids?
No.
Okay.
No, she had no kids.
Okay. That was a question for the people at home. Because I know they like...
Yeah, that was right. No, she had no babies of her own. None.
So, and I think you're a wonderful man. But, people who have instant thoughts about a man with 3 kids, how did he get married to someone who didn't have kids? Or, how did that relationship even happen? How do you feel about your relationship right now? Or even at that time? Like, matter of fact, let's step back. How did you feel when you had to step to her with everything that you had before?
Meaning, can you explain a little bit?
More like when you stepped to Sherelle,
mm-hmm.
You had your eye. You had all this from your past. You have the kids. You have the divorce. You have that. In your mind, did you feel confident about stepping to her? Did you feel like you were worthy? Did you care?
Oh yeah, I was very confident.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
good.
yeah, very confident.
Good.
Because I worked on me. Like the bad relationship that I had went through with the verbal abuse and all that type of stuff, and then getting into marriage and knowing that God really was like, bro, you shouldn't have did this. Just bottom line, he was like, bro, you shouldn't have did that.
Mm-hmm.
With all of that, I knew I had already worked through all of that. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I had always been a confident person, but when I went through that bad relationship, I had lost my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And and yeah, I had no problem stepping to her whatsoever because I knew me. And if he didn't like me, okay.
Mm-hmm. So I guess I asked that question because there might be some people out there that feel like surviving the fall, your situation. You've been through a lot, and how can someone love me?
Mm. And that comes to doing that work on the inside. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't believe in God and you're watching this podcast, but you still need to do the work. You need to talk to somebody to work through all that junk that you still know you harboring in your heart, unforgiveness with your parents or whatever it may be. Because, like, I still had stuff like that going on. Mm-hmm. I hadn't forgiven my parents and for all the garbage that I saw and went through. Mm-hmm. And but doing that work on the inside, like if you've been out there and you've been wilding out and you've been doing your own thing, do the work on the inside. Make sure that you're healed. Make sure your heart is whole. That brings the confidence back out. Because if you do that work, if you're not scared to look in the mirror and be like, hey, you crazy. You got some work to do.
Legit.
Now let's go ahead and just dig to the roots of all of these issues that you may have, or maybe it's just a couple issues. If you want to dig, let's dig to the root of the issue and let's hash it out. Like when I wrote my first book, people bought my book, and I would come back to be like, hey, did you read it? Did you check it out? Mm-hmm. I've had several people say, I read the first page. I had to put it down because I was not ready for it. I was ready they weren't ready to look inside and dig up all those bones that they think they done covered up. One of my favorite sayings is, feelings buried alive don't die. They deep. Come back as the walking dead.
That's deep.
So while you thinking you burying all this old stuff that you dealt with your parents, your family, relationships, girlfriends, boyfriends,
closet, whatever you want to call
you
it.
think they dead? Nope, they still walking around inside of you, and they'll show themselves.
They show up in ways you would have never thought.
Never would imagine. Never would imagine. So if you're ready to uncover all of that stuff and deal with all those skeletons and those bones and things like that, then that's what gets you to the confidence of, okay, now I'm really ready to be in a real relationship with somebody. So what most people they don't want to take the time to do
scary.
that. It's scary. And really, well, if I do that, it's going to take me much longer to get married.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It's going to take you longer. If you're going to do the work, you'll get married a lot faster than not doing the work. And then you'll also save your marriage from some heartache that it don't even have to go through if I would have dealt with this right here.
Absolutely. So let me rephrase that. Like, yes, you think you want to be married today, and you want to get married ASAP, and that cannot happen. I'm sorry. Like, it should not happen. I'm not saying it can't. You can go to Vegas. You can find somebody on the street.
You said that in the book. Somebody crazy enough will marry you tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But, yes, you should take the time. Allow yourself. We recommend God. We recommend therapy. We recommend all these things to learn about your I. As you can see, we all have stories.
And here's the thing. If you've been through a lot in life, you're always working on your eye. There's always something to work on. There's always something to get. There's always something that you've been like, you thought you forgot about, but something in life rubbed it the wrong way. A lady that comes to our church, pastor brings her in from time to time. She talks about the stones in your heart and how the stones in your heart develop are traumas in your life. And when it's not the thing that happened right then and there at the time, that thing just happened to rub up against the stone that happened 13 years ago. And then you're like, and you react in a certain way, and you're like, oh, dang, I thought I got over that. Nope. Something else you need to work on. But yeah, people just need to take their time and put in the work with themselves. And then I tell a lot of people, like, once you start working on yourselves, you'll start repelling people that are not for you. Oh, yeah.
Quick.
Like, I know that, like when I saw Sherelle, I know there's guys that would never step to her because they like, nah, I know I ain't got myself together. She would repel people that ain't got themselves together. But if you got yourself together, then you start attracting those other people who have themselves together. Of course, you're going to run into the fools and the idiots and things like that. But then that's when God told people, say, Adam, name these things.
Yeah.
That's a dog. That's an alligator. That's a donkey. That's a chicken head. And name it what it is. But if you don't do that work with yourself, you'll go ahead and settle for that.
Your discernment will be in.
Yes.
So, what has your wife helped you to do in your life? I know, I guess to jump into where we were talking about Adam, God gave Adam a helpmate. I kind of walked backwards with it. God gave Adam a helpmate, and we now understand, especially in our community, Christian walk, that you need someone that's suitable for your life. And so, when I asked this question about how does your wife help you in life, how has she been your helpmate to you?
Oh man, she's helped the guy. What? Something going on? I would say she's helped me to. First of all, she's helped me to realize that as much work as I have done on myself, I still got more to do. She's helped me to realize she's held it down at times where I may have dropped the ball, and has been patient and loving and kind and tolerant. with me getting myself together. She has helped me um, to really want to be a better me. If I make that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That she used to tell me, like, in the beginning of our relationship and the beginning of our marriage, she said, I used to look at you and it made me want to be better. So she makes me want to be better because then it
makes
her want to be better, and it just keeps going in a circle of us getting better. Like now I see what God talks about. You know, a three string chord is not easily broken. That weaving and cleaving to your spouse and to God, you got to get better, Daniel. Like right now, I'm going through. I told God, I was like, okay, God. I was like, I need to change the way that I'm responding to her and to my son. And God plays jokes like He always does because He gives you the opposite of what you ask for. He puts you in situations where you have to respond the right way.
Yeah.
And so if she comes to me a certain way, my initial reaction was normally to, I'm going to meet you with the same energy versus, no, a soft answer. Okay. She's hype right now. I want to get hype. No, but that's not what's going to be best for this situation right now. Yeah, right, baby. Yep, you're right. I need to take more responsibility for my actions. Totally diffuses the situation. Versus me going, you coming at me, I'm coming at you. Now we're in an argument. You going in the other room, I'm going in the other room, and we just sitting there. We don't want to talk. I'm watching the game. She doing her thing. So then our son sees that, and that's the reason why you constantly got to work on this. But yeah, she makes me want to get better. I don't toot her horn all the time because she be like, yeah, but yeah, she does make me want to get better. And I learned this. I heard this from Jim Rohn, and he said, "I'll be better for me, and you be better for you. That way, we'll be better for each other." So I ain't gonna worry about your mess that's going on. I'm not gonna point out your faults, like our pastor's been talking about. Yeah. Take off the referee jerseys. Yep. Stop blowing the whistle. Let me make me better for you, for me. And it's going to be better for you. I look at things now that people are beneficiaries of us working on ourselves. Beautiful. It ain't. I'm not doing this for you no more. You're just going to benefit for the fact that I'm working on me. I'm working on my heart. I'm working on my responses. I'm working on making sure that I got investments and stuff like that. So all that type of stuff. I'm working on that for me. But you're a beneficiary of it. And when she works on her and she goes to therapy and she does the thing, I'm just a beneficiary of it. Yeah. Basically. My wife has done some things that she had never, people have been telling her to do. I've been telling her to do for years. Take a vacation by yourself. Go somewhere with your girls. Go do those things for yourselves because inevitably, I'm going to benefit from you going to take a break and relaxing and recovering and getting rejuvenated, staying away from this crazy little 11-year-old we got. You going to do that and then coming back refreshed? I'm a beneficiary of it. Yeah, we can go for another episode. Yeah, so if you need me for another episode. Yeah, so we were talking about just her making me better. And I started thinking about some stuff. Probably by the time this episode comes out, I'm getting ready to write her a poem, and it's called "This Is the Last Day," and pretty much what it's about is me saying that this is the last day I'll be an average husband, average father, average business owner, just being average, for us to be phenomenal. Because I want a phenomenal marriage. I don't want just an average marriage. I don't want you know, you always being in that room and I'm always in this room. I grew up with that. You know, my parents slept in 2 separate beds. So it was 2 separate rooms. And I was like, I saw that growing up and I was like, I never want that. No. Like, I was like, even when we hang out, even if we're just in the house, we just got off of work and things like that, I still feel some type of way like, man, it's just too much time apart to just be, you know, just being by ourselves. So, yeah. I'm going to buy some flowers and write this poem. And so we start working towards, you know, like our pastor's talking about, becoming one and like staying one and enjoying each other and, you know, missing each other and stuff like that. So yeah. So that's where I'm at right now.
So you would say the romance has been good?
Oh yeah. I'm the romantic one. I am. She'll tell you she has no problem admitting that I am the romantic one. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I need to get back on my game. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, shoot, what it took to get her, you know, that's what it takes to keep the marriage, you know, going strong. So yeah.
As a man, does the distractions of life, and when I say distraction, I mean like you're working or you're trying to achieve something, does that take away your mental from wanting to be romantic? Or is it other things?
There's other things, I would say, because I guess I grew into this, that I look at success and business and, you know, the things that I do, and I'm like, it's not no fun if you're not enjoying it with me. Like, absolutely. Like, I've told her this several times. I'm like, what point is it for me to be successful and we get a divorce or something like that? What we done invested almost 20 years of our life together. Right. We gotta get something out of this. Right. So let's enjoy this thing together. So no, those things don't take the things that I would say take away from those things are we have 2 completely separate love languages. We're on 2 opposite ends of the spectrum, you should say. She's about service. That's the thing. So me coming home, cleaning up, washing the dishes and stuff like that, even though that stuff I hate it, I ain't gonna lie, I hate it. I care less about it, but I know those are the things that pluck her heartstrings. So, you know, and I am a huggy, touchy-feely type guy. Like, we need to lay on the couch and watch TV together. Let me put my head on your lap. You know, it's not about sex. It's about intimacy. And what people get screwed up, and I did say screwed up because a lot of people are screwed up. Intimacy is not sex. Yeah. Yeah. Intimacy is, are you into me? Yeah. Do you see me? Am I
sexy?
To you?
Yeah, like, come on. Like, when I come home, put a little something on.
Are you poking me like the Pillsbury Doughboy and be like, I don't want to, no.
I want to be that dude. You too. Yeah. Like, yeah. I think we're the same. Service, physical touch. And so, it's funny to see that in another relationship. How does that work? Because I tell her often, you know, it'd be nice if I could just be a stay-at-home dad, stay-at-home husband, because I know how important it is to keep a nice home to you. And then for me, it's like, well, I mean, if I do all of this and then I start, you know, putting some flowers up, you know, light some candles and turn some music on. What's up? We're
getting intimate.
Right. But I still value, like you said, like we can sit here and watch, you know, a movie or a TV show together. We don't have space in between each other. So, you kind of, I don't mean to drag the conversation, but like you brought up something that the comedian, his name is Maurice Wilkins. He talked about how he, you know, matter of fact, it lost my mind. If I ever, I'll bring it up at another one if I see it again. But Um,
You said you had a couple more questions.
yeah. As far as advice, and we'll keep this brief. I know you've thrown a lot out there. What would you say is most important as a man that's looking to get married? What do you think that they should know, like right now?
They need to know themselves. They need to know their likes, their dislikes. They need to know their traumas. They need to know what triggers their traumas. Because I think a lot of people, they may have traumas, and it's something I grew into to learn what will trigger my traumas. Like if I come in, just simple. I come in the house and you start, this ain't done, this ain't done. I'm not saying she sounds like that, but that's what it sounds like to me. And I feel myself like
Ready to explode.
and then I say to myself, be still, be quiet. Don't say anything. You're feeling some type of way because you're tired.
Yes.
And you're going to respond out of you being tired, and she ain't got nothing to do with you being tired. So you got to know yourself. Take time to know yourself in and out, all your hang-ups, all your dislikes, stuff that you know it's cute to put up with it in the beginning, but eventually when you get to a certain level in a relationship, you're not having it. So don't even be honest, straight up, and be like, hey, you do this. I'm be like, hey, I can't do it. I can't do with that.
And say it early in the relationship.
Early on. That should be the conversations. Like me and Sherelle had conversations. It was, I take stuff to the basics. Like if I'm single and I'm out here dating, what's your favorite color? What are the things that you like to do? What's your favorite color to wear? What, like where you like to hang out, where you want to go to vacations. What are the things that you don't like? Like, be honest. Don't give me I have never been, I think she always used to tell me I share too much. I said, no, there's no such thing. Right. Because I want you to know. Right out the gate. This is me.
We year 5 in, don't be acting surprised about something.
Yeah, exactly. So know yourself. You gotta know yourself. Men and women, know yourself. Take the time to deal with the stuff that you know is. That's the thing. We know stuff is jacked up in our lives. We know the problems that we have. Take the time and deal with them.
Can I add real quick? Since we know that things are jacked up, don't be surprised and don't take it personal. Like you said, she can come and yell at you and stuff like that. Okay, where is she at in her day where she's like, this was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
Because she still loves you, but she just irritated in this moment.
Yeah. The one thing that I like to ask, I'd be like, when she is in that space, I'd be like, sometimes I'll say, babe, I ain't had nothing to do with that. And she'll be like, no, you didn't. You didn't have anything to do with that. Here's what happened at work. Here's what happened. Or I'll be like, babe, are you okay?
Did you eat?
Are you okay? You hungry? And then it stops her, and she's like, man, them people at work, this family I had to deal with, I had to be on a call all day. Oh, okay, that's where that's coming from. But yeah, and don't take it personal. Like, that's my favorite thing. Like, this is not towards me. That's not towards me. It's not towards the clothes I left on the couch. It's not. It's something else. But yeah, definitely. But if people would just take the time to really just work on themselves, like, it's funny, we'll spend all this money to go take care of our bodies and go to the gym and all this other stuff.
Vacations.
But vacations, all that stuff is all fine and dandy. It's cool. But paying $100 to go to therapy to work out some mess, that's not important to you. Because it's known in medicine that if you're grieving or if you're holding on to something or you're unforgiving about something, that stuff weighs on you. That hurts your heart.
And eventually will kill you.
And it eventually will kill you. Yeah. So, go to therapy. Get help. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. And everybody's job, guaranteed pretty much now, if you have benefits, you at least got 3 sessions for free. You at least got 3 free sessions to go talk to somebody. I don't want these people to know their business. They don't really care about your business. They just want to care about you. You get help. Yeah.
A real good therapist really want to see you different than when you came in.
And that's me. That's how I am. That's how I coach. Like I'll always be coaching you guys. So you can always reach out to me. Don't hesitate to be like, oh, he's not coaching. No, I'm always your coach. But I was coaching you guys and somebody else at the same time. And I'm teaching you guys, and you guys took it and ran. The other person wanted to argue to me about it. Well, eventually I stopped coaching you because you're not looking for a cheerleader. And I'm not here to cheer you on.
That's a whole nother conversation. We could go,
but yeah. So, but then people just need to really just be honest and just be like, man, I'm just going to go talk to somebody. And if you can't talk to your pastor, or that's a problem in itself. Now, if you got one of those big churches and they got several pastors that do, go talk to one of the other. They're qualified. Yeah. Or go talk to a therapist. They get paid professionals. That's the main thing. Like, get that help.
I will also add, we're looking to have a workbook coming soon at some point, and we're going to outline steps that you can take as an individual to be ready for marriage. There's actually going to be 2 workbooks. So you have one for singles, and then you have one for married couples.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we want to make sure. We want people to...
Y'all don't realize, like, it's a blessing. I'm talking to you guys out there. They're just going to hear this. It's a blessing for God to allow me to coach them. And it's even a bigger blessing to be sitting in the manifestation of what God is doing in their lives. That brings me so much joy. As a coach, like you said, you want to see people get better. This right here, I'm all smiles. I'm all smiles because it warms my heart to be like, man, God allowed me to be an instrument to help someone grow in the work that He's doing with you guys. And eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of men of what God's going to do through you guys. You just guys need to stay focused, stay prayed up.
Absolutely.
Stay read up.
Absolutely.
And continue to date each other. And as the seasons in your lives change, make sure that you're communicating that the seasons are changing. Because as a guy that is a huggy, touchy, feely guy, there will come a time where she may not be as into it because it's physical. It's not the mental part of it. It's more of a physical thing that women go through. And I've dealt with that. And I deal with that. And you have to realize it's not personal. She still loves you. It's just something that she is working through physically. It's chemicals in her body that's, I'm just not as, I don't want to do it as much as we used to. And you have to grow into, okay, did I marry her to just have sex? and make love, or did I marry her to grow as a couple and as a unit? So that's my advice to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always coaching.
I mean, I pray it stays hot, but if it gets cold,
yeah.
Thank you for that.
God will grow us in those seasons.
Absolutely.
And trust me, he gonna pay you back on the back end.
Okay. As I heard.
Yes, as one of my mentors, he told me he went through a season where he didn't have sex with his wife for a whole year, and he's now reaping the fruits of passing that test. Because the love is stronger, their bond is stronger, and the intimacy, he's like, yeah, I'm good.
Well, fellas, this is marriage.
It's marriage, man. It's marriage.
Marriage. Obviously, thank you. And not only just coming here today, but thank you for everything you've done for us, with us, through God. Because we had prayed for some help.
Yes.
And you came and showed up and just done more than enough to get us where we are now. And prayerfully, you get to see much, much more. And we'll always shout you out, always. Yeah, you have 2 books. Well, you have one and one on the way. One
right now is called "It's Time to Let You Go," and it's dealing with the things of your past that you are holding on to, but they're actually holding you back from moving forward in life. Like for me, I had a lot of unforgiveness from my mom and my dad. I actually had unforgiveness of God. I didn't want to forgive him for allowing me to go through that. So yes, you do. I did forgive God, and people be like, "You forgave God?" Yeah, because I held it again. You have let me go through this as a kid, and let that go. But knowing that He's the Almighty and He had a reason for it, and it produced a book. And the second book that's coming out, Surviving the Fall, is coming out. I always tell you guys to put a date on it. Since I'll be turning 50 this year, it'll be coming out on my birthday.
Okay.
So Surviving the Fall will be coming out
and what day is that?
October the 6th.
October 6th.
2025.
Yes. So
yes. So doing this one, I self-published my first book, but this one I'm publishing company, all that good stuff.
You saw what we did.
Yes. I'm a coach that's learning. You can always learn. So I want to do it that way, do it the right way, because there's a New York Times bestseller coming.
And we're cheering each other on for that.
Yes.
For sure. We would. Yes, so you have that. You have your podcast.
So I have my podcast. The podcast will be relaunching, and I'm going to relaunch it on my birthday too.
Okay.
So I have over 2 years of episodes that I ended up taking down because the old "it's coming," and God pretty much shut that thing down and said, He's like, until you write this book and get this book out, we can stop right here. So it'll be relaunching again on October 6th. And then we have my vision coaching program. And, you can hit me up at Daniel Pate on Facebook. HD Property Group on Instagram, because we are in real estate. So that's my baby. A lot of people didn't know I had the passion of. I loved Legos. I love Legos. I love seeing things come together, and just had a meeting today with some business partners of mine, and I cast the vision, and they were like, they're on board. And so, so our first development should be coming soon.
Awesome.
Very soon.
Man, God is blessing you.
Man, He is with my crazy self. I be looking at him like, man, you love a crazy dude like me. You gave me a wife like that, kids, my kids, my grandbabies. I'm like, you really love me. So but I appreciate you guys. Appreciate everything that you guys are doing. Like just keep pushing. Even when it doesn't seem like it's going as fast as you think, we're on God's time.
Yes.
Oh, I believe it. We believe it. Yeah. So yes, thank y'all for y'all watching this whole hour and some odd change time. We hope that you have been blessed. God bless you in your week, your future, in your dating and in your marriage. Remember these moments too. Just remember that if something happens in your life, I heard something about that. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna apply that. Matter of fact, I'm ready to change. I hope that this is inspiring to you. His life is inspiring to you. And yes, just have a wonderful week. God bless you.